sorry about that. So I'm done with my rain jacket rant and the whole, you know, no woman camping thing with Walmart, right? So Walmart needs to get their crap together. Done with that. So I stopped the video because this morning my brother-in-law was driving me to the park, and we were passing through Medway, and we picked up two hitchhikers, and they were headed to the A-Ball Bridge campground, which is 10 miles from here. They just did 10 miles, so I picked them up around roughly 11 o'clock. They just did 10 miles. It's 1:34 right now, and it was like 10 or 11 when I picked them up, so they just packed out 10 miles like really quickly. Like, that's awesome. They said there's some really pretty falls. I actually wasn't expecting to see them again. I waved them on their way, and I thought that would be the last time I saw them. I'm pretty sure they're from Australia. I don't think the female has a trail name, but the male, his trail name is Pencil, because his pencil legs is what they told me. So trail names are kind of given as you hike. I'm sure eventually I'll tell you guys my trail name. I don't have one yet, haven't earned it. But they say basically a trail name happens based on maybe something that you do that was funny or dumb, or an attribute that you have, or a catchphrase that you say. So eventually I'm sure I will get a trail name. Maybe, maybe not. I'm going to be hiking alone, so it just depends. But it was pleasant to see them. They looked like they sounded like they had enjoyed the falls. Yeah, so where was I? I was ranting about the Walmart camping section, and I was going over my gear, right? So I've talked about my bear bag, I've talked about my rain jacket, cheap, my tent. I have a ULA Photon pack. It is nothing special. It's pretty small. It is on the ultralight side, I would say. It is the smallest pack I've ever had. I used to have a Swiss backpack for the longest time. I absolutely love it, and if you need something, I don't know if they make them anymore. It was in a bargain bin when I got it, but I hiked with it for the longest time, and it's a phenomenal pack. Really big, really comfortable on my hips. I never had any trouble with it, and I was sad to upgrade, but this Photon has done great for me. And the only thing that I don't know how many liters the pack is. I didn't actually look at that when I bought it, but I managed to get all of my gear and 6 days of food, which is the most food that I'll have at one point while I'm hiking, because I will be going through towns. But I managed to get all my gear, my food, my water into my pack, but it was a squeeze. Like, I was like literally like pushing like as hard as I could to get everything in there. When I get rid of some of this food after the 100-mile wilderness, it won't be as hard to pack my food in, but I'll show you the pack. It's small. It's pretty empty right now because my food, my tent, my sleeping pad, my sleeping bag, and a couple other various items are not in it, but I bought it from a girl, and she was selling it on a Facebook page because it was too small for her, but she had personalized it, which I love because it adds a little flair. But she personalized, when she ordered it, she got these pink and this green on here, and then she also got the orange on the hip belt. It's a size, I want to say it's a size medium. I don't think it's a size small. I don't know if they make size small, but it is a smaller female size. It does have a hip belt. It sits really comfortable on me. It's not very small. It's a little more narrow at the bottom. You can really fit more in the top, right up through here. This roll top is the only reason I was able to really get my food in there, because if the roll top was not there, I don't know what I'd done. I guess I was thinking about strapping my food onto the top of my bag, but I was able to get it to fit. So it's nice. I have a couple random things here. My coworkers are gonna lose their mind over this. This is called a deuce of spades. It is my poo shovel. It's for when I need to use the bathroom in the woods. I love it because everyone was real curious, and they were really excited for me and everything, but some of them were like, "You're crazy for doing this," and I was like, "Yeah, but I love this stuff. I love it." So it's great. But I have some water shoes here. They're just knockoff Crocs, which again I had to shop in the men's section for because Walmart didn't think that women needed water shoes that were like this. So yeah, total bummer, but it's okay. My pocket knife. My dad let me borrow this. It's a pretty nice knife. It's very, very, very sharp. I actually don't normally hike with a knife this big, but my dad kind of insisted. I needed something that was in a sheath, and so this is a sheath knife that he had, and it works. It's nice. I really do like it. It's very sharp. The name on it, Jennings Cabet? Yeah, I don't know. It's not my knife, but I'm sure it'll serve me well while I'm out here. A couple other things that I have in here. It's my ditty bag for anything that I have. I did just get my wisdom tooth out. I don't know, for those of you who don't know me, I right before I left, it was literally, I boarded a plane to Boston to see my sister on Thursday of last week, and I got my tooth out on Wednesday, and it hasn't been causing me any pain or anything, but I got my upper left wisdom tooth out, and I'm surprised. It's been great, but basically this just has a med kit. It has toothpaste, water filtration tabs in it. My med kit's really simple. It's just some blister prevention, or after I get blisters, some little blister band-aids, I guess. I have regular band-aids. I have a handful of Excedrin, some antiseptic, antibiotic ointment, nail clippers. I have a tick key, which will properly help me remove ticks, because ticks are really bad out here. You can catch Lyme disease and stuff. I have an emergency blanket, because I always camp with an emergency blanket. I don't care if I'm going to the desert. I don't care where I'm going. Emergency blanket, it might save your life, but it's lightweight enough that I don't mind carrying it with me, because you never know when you will be in an emergency. It's kind of the point. Yeah, it's great. I have a couple other things in there, just personal items and such. Yeah. So this is my camp stove. Let me go over that for a minute. This is a MSR wind burner. I was originally going to buy the jet boil system. I have a little pocket rocket, which, again, for my friends who don't know what that is, it's just a simple stove that screws onto a butane canister like this. So this is the fuel, and it's the stove that I had originally. It was just this little one that came up like this and had 3 prongs for a pot to sit on it. The only problem with it is yes, it's lightweight, but if it's raining or if it's windy, you got to think about saving fuel and a couple other things. It wasn't a complete system. I would not only would I have to carry the fuel, I would have to carry the stove itself. I would have to make a windscreen that would shelter it. It would go around it so that most people make it out of tin foil, like a heavy duty tin foil. And then I would have to make a koozie for it so that it would stay warm, so I could get my food hot, and like there was a lot of extra work, and you know, like I just wasn't up for it. I get hangry. I know my family knows this. Okay, when I am tired, I want to eat, my body just starts to shut down, and I get grumpy, I get angry, and I'm ready to eat. I have a little bit of blood sugar problems, so I'll have to watch that while I'm out. But it boils water really fast, and it's a complete system. So let me take it apart, and I'll kind of explain it. So the reason I went with this one over the jet boil is mainly because of this right here. This helps to evenly distribute the heat. So not only can I boil water in this, but say I wanted to cook something in this pot, I could cook eggs, or I don't know, I don't really know what I'm going to be cooking in this pot, but I have the options, and that's nice. The jet boil really was made for more just boiling water. This system had more features that I liked. So it comes with the koozie insulated, and it has a handle. The koozie is important because if you're boiling water and you have something that you need to keep hot so that way it will finish cooking the food for you, you can boil it and you can stick it down in there and you can put the lid on. It comes with a lid right here, and it will keep it insulated while it finishes cooking your meal. And that's great because you can leave it alone and you can go set up camp and it's sufficient. So this system is a couple parts here. I'll set it up and I'll show you guys. This piece is optional, but I think it's important. I feel like there would probably be a lot of people who are like weight snobs who would just like, oh, I don't need this, and like chunk it. But and that's okay because everyone hikes differently. But these canisters, they're gonna be spouting flames off, and like if it falls over, I mean that could be dangerous, right? You don't want to get burned. You don't want to start a fire. This is it makes it more stable. It's a stability thing. So you set it on the bottom of the canister. And it's a little tricky to get in there. You kind of have to open it and put it on there. And then that way, even if it's rocky or it's unstable, like it's still gonna, it's not gonna fall over because you have this big tall setup that's gonna be on there. You'll see it in a minute. And I felt like it was safer to bring that, right? Okay. I'm gonna tell you guys something. I don't know if I should say this on camera or not because like maybe I'll end up getting fined or something, but like I'm just gonna tell you guys anyway and we'll see how it goes, right? Butane canisters are illegal on airplanes, and I totally know this, right? I had this, so the whole system fits down inside of this pot. All of this goes down inside of there. The canister, it goes inside the pot, and then the plastic sits on top, and then the lid covers it all up, and so the whole system sits inside the pot, basically. And I had forgotten that my fuel was inside my pot, and I had bought 2 fuel canisters when I was at REI because they were on sale. And I was like, oh, that was a dumb idea. I can use them for later, but I can't take them on the plane with me. So when I was packing my bag, I forgot that I had bought 2, and I saw the other butane canister on the ground, and basically I was like, oh yeah, that's okay. It's not in there. And so I get to the airport, and the guy is tagging my baggage and everything, and I said, I was like, oh yeah, I have camping stuff in here. It's gonna be okay, right? Thinking about my pocket knife, really. I was really thinking about my pocket knife. I was like, I hope that's okay. I don't want to get caught in the airport and searched or anything. I did not know that I had this with me. No clue at all. I had forgotten. And they're really cheap. I could have just bought one when I got here. I just didn't know that I had it. So I get to my sister's house in Boston, and I'm showing her my gear, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is my stove, this is awesome, let me show it to you because I'm really proud of this, I like this a lot. And I unpack it, and I'm like, again, I'm not trying to cuss here, I'm like, holy crap. I was going crazy. I was sitting there, I was like, I brought an explosive on a plane on accident. I mean, no, it's not I mean, yes, it could be explosive, but no, it's not like I intentionally did this, right? This was a total accident. And I was like, I can't believe I did that, right? Like, oh my god. You guys, I have the stupidest dumb luck that could have ruined my thru hike. Okay, literally could have ruined my thru hike. That is the dumbest thing I've ever done. Don't do it. It was unintentional, but like, I will forever be paranoid. Next time I go to an airport, I will double, triple, quadruple check things. But yeah, so I was researching online apparently about these things and like what happens when you do bring them on a plane. I wasn't sure if it was safe to use, you know, like if it had been like over pressurized or what. I wasn't really sure. I didn't know much about it. So yeah, apparently it's a really, really big fine if it leaks, because they have to bring a hazmat crew onto the plane to like search the plane and everything, and they'll charge you a pretty penny for it. So luckily it didn't leak. Luckily it was contained inside of this pot too. It had a lid and everything, so maybe that helped. It was in a checked bag. It wasn't in the cabin of the plane or anything, but still, I cannot believe how dumb that was of me. Like, literally, that was the stupidest thing I've ever done on accident. So back to this MSR stove here, now that I explained my butane stove horror story. Okay, so this is actually the burner itself. This is the part that will light. It screws onto the top of the stove here. I don't want to do it right now, but these go together and they click in place, and then this sits on top right here, and then you basically, when it's screwed on, you would turn the gas on, and then you would get the lighter and you would light it right through here, and it would start to boil your water. It has little, you came with a little scrubby, that's great. It has, you probably can't see it, but on the inside of the pot it has measurements, so that way I don't end up with soup instead of beef stroganoff when I'm rehydrating my meals. It was another reason literally why I bought this, because a lot of the times in the past when I had a different pot and I had a different stove set up, I would always mismeasure my water because I was just eyeballing it. I didn't have a measuring cup, so it was an all-inclusive system. And another thing I really loved about it, which I shouldn't love this so much, but I do, okay, I can eat my food and I can drink my coffee. Okay, this is like my coffee mug is what I'm going to call it, because this is all it's gonna do. I can drink my morning coffee and I can eat my food at the same time. And I know that doesn't sound like a luxury, but when you're camping, it kind of is, because you don't really bring a lot with you. And this actually serves a purpose. It protects this down here, and it just kind of slides nicely over it, because I mean, it would be a bummer to get like dirt and stuff up in here when you light it on fire and it's boiling your food. That would probably smell really bad. I mean, for multiple reasons, it's really good that covers it. And it also has measurements on the side of the cup here. So, and it comes with a nice little lid with like a sippy and a strainer and stuff, so it's nice. And then this just it comes off right here, and it collapses back down. The butane stove, it goes, so the burner, I know you guys already saw me put it in there. The burner sits down in there first, and it's got a little, it is I'm trying to think of the word. There's concave and convex, and I'm pretty sure this is convex. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, right? It's been a while since I've used that word. But the bottom of this is concave, and so they kind of fit together like a little puzzle piece. It's great. And so it slides down on top of there, and then the support system sits on top, and the little scrubby, you can put it in the bottom of the pot, but I don't like reaching down in there. You can just set it right here on top, and then the lid goes on it, and it's an all-inclusive stove system, so it's great. I love this. It is a little expensive. I got it on sale at REI. I got a lot of my gear on sale at REI. I had to wait a while before they had a sale. But I love it. It's great. And I actually tested to see if it would boil water more efficiently with this setup versus my old setup, and it does. It boils it probably twice as quick, which is great because, again, I get hangry and I don't like to wait for my food. So, I like it. I'll stop going on about my great little stove here, and I'll find something else to talk about now. I definitely know this is going to make my friends giggle because it's a little ridiculous. I'll be right back. So I was talking about how bad the bugs were out here, and it's highly recommended to get a pair of gloves so that the bugs don't bite your hands, because when the snow starts to melt off the mountains, the black flies in Maine become really, really bad. Everything I've read, I've watched videos of women just like flies, like bugging all around their head. So they recommend you have a bug net over your head. Now, personally, I have never used one of these before. Even in Texas, I've just dealt with the bugs, right? But after seeing a video of really how bad they were, I was like, okay, that looks awful. I'm gonna go get one of these because it might make the difference between me having a bad day or me having a good day, because I don't know, it's recommended, right? So they recommend it for a reason. So it's literally this bug net that comes over, and you can leave it like this if you'd like. The picture shows that it goes like this, and I have not ever used one of these before. I think it's fairly ridiculous looking, but if it serves a purpose, then it means it's not ridiculous, right? It's doing something for you. So yeah, bug net, and it was cheap, nice and cheap. So if it's a creature comfort, then, and it protects me from bugs biting my face, I'll carry it. You know, if I end up not using it when I get halfway through, or maybe a couple weeks in, I'll send it home, because they really recommended it specifically for the black flies in Maine. So I don't know if I'm going to use it or not. The bugs are really bad here, but again, this stuff is great. So maybe when I run out of this stuff, if I can't find it anymore, this will come into play. I don't know, honestly. We'll figure it out. I can always send stuff home, but if it's at home and I don't have it, and I want it, it's not doing me anything, so. It's wine time. Not doing anything, right? I'm just sitting at home camp. So these are great. I have used these hiking a lot. This is boxed wine. It's as awful as it sounds, but it's great also, all in the same sip. Yeah, it's Merlot, and it's great because you know you're not really gonna want to carry glass, and you can collapse it and crush it when you're done with it. Yeah, it's great. I'm gonna take another sip though. They didn't have the flavor that I like in the boxed wine. Tragic. I'm just kind of going over little things right now. I specifically had several of my friends ask me about my gear and what I would be using, so this is really just for the people who asked me about it. This is a camp towel, and it's nice. I've used this for many years now. I've had this since I went to Philmont. I don't actually remember what year I went to Philmont. I think it was 2014. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. I was like 17 at the time. But yeah, I've had it. I'm 23 now. It's great. I have this thing. I could care less if the rest of me is dirty, but every morning I have to wipe the oil off my face because it makes me feel better. It makes me feel human, makes me feel clean. Having an oily face gives me acne. There's a really, really pretty bird. Okay, I have no idea what it is, but it's like 10 feet from me, and it's just kind of hopping along. It's got a really pretty orange belly and like a brown back. It's like looking right at me. Super cute bird. Anyway, ADHD. But yeah, I don't like my face being oily, so this is great. And then say if I wanted to take a dip in like the falls or something, you know, like it'd be great to just kind of dry off my pits and everything and stuff. So yeah, and I can rinse it out, and it has this hook on the back, so I can clip it on the back of my pack and it can dry off, and then it just folds back up into its case when it's dry, and it dries pretty quickly. It's kind of like a ShamWow, but like not that brand basically, and it's lighter. It's thinner and it's lighter. It's so beautiful out here, you guys. Like in my other videos, you guys will get to see, but in this one, I started it forward facing, and I can't flip the camera in the middle of the video, unfortunately. It'd make it a lot easier if I could, but it's absolutely gorgeous out here. I'm camping right next to this really pretty clear stream. I might walk down there here in a minute and filter water, and if I do, I'll bring you guys with me. It's already almost a 30-minute video, so I'll probably cut the video off at 30 minutes. I doubt anyone's going to want to listen to me ramble on about all the crap that I'm doing right now for longer than 30 minutes, but some of you might. So keep watching if you do. If not, just, you know, bye. I have this big gargantuan battery pack. It's in this dry sack. My sister let me borrow it, specifically so that I could record. It's pretty big. It's actually one of the heavier. It's like, literally, it's heavier than my tent, my sleeping bag, and like my sleeping pad combined. It weighs like, I don't know how much it weighs, but it's got some weight to it. I'm not gonna take it out of the bag. It's just a black brick that is heavy. It's heavy, you guys. This is normally compressed, but I took my sleeping bag out of it, so it's not. This is a compression sack, and so basically it starts off big, and I put everything that I want in there that's puffy, like my down jacket, my down sleeping bag. I only have one pair of pants with me, and I have a long sleeve shirt, a short sleeve shirt, this buff. I'll explain this in a minute. This thing is great. I have 2 sports bras and 1 pair of spandex booty shorts that are gonna serve as a swimsuit for me. Yeah, so that's it as far as clothing goes. This compression sack is great though, because like I said, I don't have a lot of space in my backpack, so it takes everything and it just squeezes all the air out, and it makes it from like being this big, you know, giant ball of clothing to just this little bitty thing that'll fit down in the bottom of my pack. And it's the most cumbersome item that I have, but it's nice. It's great. I'll show you guys. So it starts out like all upside down and like wonky, and you put your stuff in this side, and I have this great I don't really know what this one's called, but it's a down jacket, right? Down jacket, simple as that. It's an REI brand. I got it on sale, and it fits me really well. It's very insulating. I don't know what it's rated to, but it was rated really, really well when I bought it. I just don't remember. I have a sleeping bag liner for if it gets colder, I can use it. It's basically, it supposedly adds an extra 15 degrees of heat if you're in an emergency situation. And it's just like a really, really thin sleeping bag, basically. And I really brought this to use on the hotter nights when I don't want to unpack my sleeping bag. I can just get in there and use my sleeping bag liner. It also helps as a barrier for the stank, because I don't want my sleeping bag to stink. It will over time, but the down bags are harder to wash than regular synthetic sleeping bags. So I can get in this and I can get inside my sleeping bag, and I can wash this much easier than I can wash my sleeping bag. And if this gets smelly and dirty, it's okay, but it's not as hard to wash as my sleeping bag. But it also does serve a purpose of adding an extra warm layer if it's really, really cold somewhere. And it has helped me out. I've had this again since I went to Philmont. This is a piece that I've had early on from when I've been hiking, probably when I was like 16. This has been with me the whole time I've been hiking, basically. It's great. And it's in my favorite color, which is green. I tried not to get all of my gear in green, because I would have ended up like the green monster or something, right? Like, everything would have been lime green, and it would have just been... You would have seen me from a mile away, maybe. I don't know. So, this is my long sleeve. When you're hiking, you're supposed to layer your clothing, because it's insulating layers. As opposed to getting one really big puffy jacket, you're supposed to layer up. That way, you keep the heat closer to your body. So this is my long sleeve. I'm sure I'll need it at some point. I will be hiking into October, maybe November, depending on how fast or slow I am. I imagine alone I'll be pretty fast, but if I do find friends, I'll probably slow down a little bit and maybe enjoy the ride more, but I don't really know what to expect right now, so it just depends. I have 3 pairs of socks. Basically, that doesn't seem like a mini, considering I'll really only be doing laundry maybe once a week. But I have this pair I will wear when I'm sleeping if I need them and it's cold. It's also my backup pair of socks. I have another pair of socks that I'm wearing right now, just like these. They're great. Really nice socks. I did buy new socks before I left because my old hiking socks had many miles on them, and I did not want to find out that I needed new socks or another pair of socks halfway through. So basically, if these get dirty and I'm hiking, what most people do is they just, when they're crossing a stream and they need to get more water, they dip them in the water and they wash them out and they turn them inside out and they hang them on the back of their pack. Hiker laundry day, basically. So, yeah. And nothing else in here is important. It's just regular old clothing. Literally, like, 1 shirt, 2 shirts, 1 pair of pants, 3 pairs of socks, my buff, my puffy jacket, and my raincoat. That's it. You don't really need to change clothes a lot when you're hiking, and I know that sounds gross, but the thing is you're gonna be dirty anyway. What's the point of putting on a clean pair of clothes if you're already 3 days of sweat and nasty? So, yeah, I know everyone at home's going, ew. It's okay, you guys. Right, so I'm just gonna put all this stuff away real quick. The last thing I want to show you guys, the video is already at 33 minutes. I'm sorry you had to listen to me this long. But, the last thing I'm going to show you guys before I go is just my water filtration system, which I'm actually kind of worried right now because I can't seem to find my actual filter top. So give me a minute and I'll be right back. If I can't find it, I'll just come back and be like, I'll end the video. But then I'm going to be out of luck. So I hope I can find it. I think it's in the bottom of my pack, so I'm just going to look real quick. I know I put it somewhere easily accessible, but the thing is I can't remember where, but give me a minute. Found it! So this is probably second to maybe my rain gear, because that will keep me dry and not getting hypothermia, but this is probably one of my most important pieces of gear. This is a Sawyer Squeeze water filtration system. I have the regular size. It's about $24 where I got it. They have one that's smaller than this. Basically, the nozzle is just like miniaturized, and the bag is smaller as well. But this is like a liter bag, I'm pretty sure. It's 32 ounces. And I have 2 of these, and then on top of that, I have a smart water bottle, which is like 33 ounces, which is compatible with the thread system on this. You can literally put this on the top of a smart water bottle and drink, and it's fine. For those of you who know what a life straw is, this is similar technology to a life straw. If you don't, it's basically these fibers that sit down. I can't get this to thread. I feel like I need to concentrate on this for a second. Okay, yeah, it'll thread, but yeah, it goes on there, and then you fill the bottle. This is gonna hold dirty water. You fill, not dirty water, but like stream water, unfiltered water. Fill the bag up, and then you screw the top on, and then you squeeze the water out into a clean bottle, and it filters it as it goes through it. It goes through these fiber membranes, as it's described. It's great for running water, flowing water. All of the water that I'm drinking out here is like crystal clear. It's beautiful water. There will be times when I feel like I'll probably pass through places where the water is sketchy, and that system right there filters out 99.99% of all bacteria and germs and everything. For that other 1%, I did bring a backup. I have these tablets right here. I have 3 rolls of these tablets, and there's 2 tablets in each roll. I don't think that I'm going to use them all, but they're really lightweight, and I figured I'd bring them because I have not personally tried the tablets before, so I wanted to see how they taste, because eventually maybe I might be doing the Pacific Crest Trail, and these will be used on the Pacific Crest Trail. There's a lot of desert hiking out there, and the water sources are few and far between on the Pacific Crest, so these would be better on that trail specifically. So this is like a test run, but these are called Katahdin Micropure, and they just drop them in the water, and it takes out the rest of the germs that this won't. So it's a backup. For people who do ultralight hiking, most of them, this is the only water purification that they bring with them. Personally, they have a little bit of a weird taste from what I've heard. I've tried them in other people's water before. I've never used them myself, but I have tried I've drank water from people who have used these to filter it, and it does taste a little weird, So like when you're filtering with the Sawyer, it tastes basically like the fresh water, and if you're drinking water from like a mountain stream, that water tastes amazing. It was funny because I remember one year I hiked the Eagle Rock Loop in Arkansas, and